You're on the air.
Hi, Doug, Richard Swerdlow. How are you?
Well, Rich, how are you doing, sir?
Pretty good.
Well, good.
Am I on time for our call and interview?
You are on time, and again, this is Rich Swerdlow, who is the founder and CEO of Condo.com and Houses.com. Tell the public what again, how did you get into this real estate business, and a little bit about your past, Rich?
Thank you. Well, good morning to your audience out there. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show with you. We, about 5 years ago, my background, I'm a lawyer by trade, got into the internet business many years ago, and had a successful internet company which we sold to Federated Department Stores that traded in wireless telephone products on the internet. And then I got into the family development business. We were building lots of multifamily condominium projects in 2005, and it seemed at that time that there was going to be a global oversupply of condos based upon all the advertising and the pre-construction, almost like a game that was going on with investors who were putting up the money to buy units, and then the developer was getting construction loans. And it seemed in 2005 that there was going to be a crash or an oversupply. And at that time, I said, you know what, in order to create some liquidity, there needs to be a marketplace. And the marketplace should create liquidity for buyers and sellers. And that's what we did. We went about going out and building what's now become the largest marketplace for condos in the world. We've got close to 4 million properties globally on the site. And we connect buyers and sellers and renters, and now increasingly auctioneers that are representing sellers and financial institutions to promote their listings either online or offline.
Tell me again how many hits you have in a month.
Sure. So we don't measure things by hits.
Okay.
We measure them in terms of unique visitors.
Oh, okay.
People use the term hits, but what we're really interested in and the way we monetize and make money is by how many unique visitors show up to the site. So last month we had approximately 1.5 million unique visitors to Condo.com.
Wow.
We just launched Houses, and it's going to take us a little bit of time to grow the traffic to Houses, but on Condos we had about 1.5 million, and each one of those visitors generates a certain number of page view impressions. So on total, we served around 50 million page view impressions, and those are the metrics that we use.
Wow.
Page impressions and unique visitors.
Okay. Well, besides the fact that I'm a real estate auction guy, we have listeners that are real estate brokers. We have sellers that listen. We have auction firms that are listening. Tell us, how do we advertise with you, and how do you kind of create a unique area? In other words, if I'm a seller or a broker or an auctioneer in Des Moines, Iowa, and I've got something going, how do you kind of create a program for me?
Sure. So it's very simple. We've really made the site and what we do performance-based so that it's very easy to test. There's no upfront long-term commitments with us. Right on the home page of Condo.com, at the top of the page, there's a link that says advertisers or advertise.
Mm-hmm.
When you click there, you'll see very easily 4 or 5 different groups of potential advertisers. One is an auctioneer, the other is a real estate broker, the other is a real estate developer or property manager. And we have either programs that can be bought online. We have a self-publishing product where a person can put their credit card in and they can upload unlimited listings. Or there's an email form and someone on our team will get back to them. Now, the way the viewers find that inventory is very simple. On the home page, we have a giant box that says auctions. Any of the auction inventory that we display can be found there. And we also have a filter on our search results. So, we make it very easy. The way we work typically is either per lead or per click. In certain instances, because we're licensed as a real estate broker nationwide. We work on a performance basis where we get paid a commission upon a closed sale. So we actually put some skin in the game, and we provide the impressions, and we get paid when we deliver results, whether it's a click, a lead, or a sale.
Mm-hmm. Well, for instance, and I've talked to you several times, and you're a friend, and appreciate your coming on the show. But for an auctioneer, let's say I've got 50 condominiums, and we'll say it's going to be in Boston, Massachusetts, and we sell 40 of them that day, and 10 of them didn't hit the price point that the seller wanted to hit. And, we've got our own follow-up staff, and, that's important. But you also talked to me about another service so that actually I could give those extra 10 listings kind of for you for a couple of weeks and try to have you do your magic, and then we would kind of split as far as a fee. Is that correct in summary?
Yeah. So, we like to provide post-auction services. We recognize that a lot of inventory, not a lot, but a portion of the inventory won't necessarily move on auction day.
Mm-hmm.
So we will take inventory and, again, either on a per-click, a per-lead, or a per-sale basis, provide the post-auction marketing services so that an auctioneer has a solution and they don't have to go back to the financial institution or their seller and say, okay, we sold 70%, here, take your 30% back and have at it.
Okay. Very, very interesting. Well, the fact that you, we'll talk about houses.com in just a minute, but the fact that you do condo.com and again, you work internet magic so that when you're typing in something about condos and buying condos and selling condos, and you're just a guy from Texas that wants to know something about the Maryland area, your firm comes up quickly on the web page. How do you do that? How does that work?
So it's all about the way people search for real estate these days.
Mm-hmm.
According to the National Association of Realtors, 90% or more start their search online.
Mm-hmm.
So when people go to Google, the key is to be in the top search result place. So if people type in Maryland condos, condos for auction, bulk condos in a particular zip code, we're typically number 1 or number 2 on thousands of searches.
Wow.
And, Google and the other major search engines, Yahoo and Bing, their whole objective is to provide the most relevant search results to their users. So our site, because we have so much inventory and because we have the category domain name, for example, condo.com or houses.com, Google views our site as a reputable and relevant source of those searches, and that's how the traffic, comes to us. And that's why we show up when people are searching for that inventory.
Mm-hmm. Very, very good. The fact that you are the condo guy, you also are based in Miami, and certainly Miami has had its history of available condos and condo booms. Give us a little bit about the past few years and what's happening.
Sure. So, the market obviously was very overbuilt. Miami was really the poster child for this condo phenomenon, and a lot of it was fueled from investors who wanted to get money out of South America. There was, particularly out of Venezuela and Colombia. So you'd have these giant investor groups that would come and buy, 50, 100 units pre-construction. The developer would get a construction loan, and then those developers, those investors would try to, flip out of the units, and a lot of times they weren't successful, and it created this problem. We're seeing, thankfully, at the height of the problem, sort of 2006, 2007, there were 70,000 units available in the South Florida market. That number has been compressed, and we're seeing, because prices have been dropped and financial institutions are willing to take a haircut on a lot of deals, we're seeing lots of velocity, Month over month, when you compare February 10 to February 09, home sales in South Florida are up over 40%. So
wow.
we're starting to see, because the prices are so low, we're starting to see movement. Something that is really interesting for you and your listeners is that in Miami, Dade, and Broward counties, more than half the recent sales are either short sales or bank-owned. So, even though the number of transactions are going up, it's happening with depressed prices and with either troubled loans or things that the banks have already taken back. They're REO'd. But I think we got to work through that problem, and as the absorption takes place, as less units are available, then we'll start to see new construction start up again.
Very, very good. Tell us about houses.com.
So we got our business model at condo.com profitable about a year ago, and we looked at the market for condos, and on a nationwide basis, condos account for about 10% of the overall sales.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked at our team, we looked at our skill set and the ability to drive traffic to a category domain and our nationwide licensing, and it made a lot of sense for us to have a single-family presence, which could really leverage our team and our infrastructure. And we went out, and it took us about a year and a half to negotiate the acquisition, but we acquired the domain. It was not an operating business. It was just a domainer that was sitting on the domain for the past 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
But we acquired the domain in December. We launched the site actually on January 11th, and the site's been up for about 90 days now, and we're out running as fast as we can to grow traffic and to generate leads across that product type. Again, condos are 10%, houses are 90% of the housing market, so it's just a matter of us reproducing, our business model.
Well, you are a very interesting guy, really a leader in this area. And how do people get a hold of you? How do people advertise with you? Give us some contact information.
I appreciate that, Doug. And, you and I have worked together for the past couple of years, and I really enjoy the opportunity now to work with you in your new shop, and I think what you're doing on the radio show is great. The best way to get a hold of me is at my email address, and I answer every email. I'm simply Rich, R-I-C-H, at condo.com. That's the best way that anyone can find me.
Very, very good.
Rich.com. And if anyone has interest in advertising or talking about a strategic partnership, happy to find a win-win. That's what we're all about, is delivering results for our partners.
Rich, you're the man in Miami and basically almost the world for condos, and now you're going into houses.com. Congratulations. Thanks for being on the show.
Have a great weekend. Thanks, bud.
You bet.